Hello everyone, I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for Tuesday, March 18th. On today's show, Tim Stephenson will discuss the complexities of today's fixed income markets. We'll get some great news about the opening of the LifeQuest Aquatic Center, and we'll get one last reminder about the good work done at the Shell Point Library. But first, this morning is a special event open to all, the Assisted Living Spring Open House and Tour. Learn from Rita Southern the details of how you can access assisted living when you need it, and also enjoy a light continental breakfast. Then go on a tour, including sneak peeks at a number of residential apartments, as well as taking some time to mingle with Shell Point's assisted living ambassadors. This is a perfect time to get all your assisted living questions answered by both staff and residents while you tour the King's Crown, the Arbor, or both. The event is free, but seating is limited. Please call 454-2077 to RSVP today. The King's Crown Tour is this morning at 10 a.m. in the King's Crown Community Room. And the Arbors Tour takes place next Tuesday, March 25th at 9 a.m. Once again, to sign up, please call 454-2077. And then tonight, we welcome the duo of Kelly and Shelley as part of our spring dance, which has an Emerald City theme. Enjoy the best dancing, music, and enjoy the appetizers and the company of your friends and neighbors. The Emerald City Spring Dance takes place tonight at 7 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Get your tickets at the Island Service Desk by calling 454-2282 or the Woodland Service Desk at 454-2054. And then tomorrow, we welcome the financial team of Paul Weinstein and Nadine Wilkes. They'll be discussing the complexities of today's fixed income markets at an Academy event tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room. Tim Stephenson has this preview.
Hi everyone, I'm here today with Timothy Stephenson, Executive Director of our own Legacy Foundation here at Shell Point. Every month in the Academy of Lifelong Learning, we get a legacy seminar to help us focus on the financial parts of our life. Thank you for joining me, Tim.
Thanks for having me.
Now, the financial focus for this month address the complexities of today's fixed income markets. That's a mouthful.
What a mouthful.
What's a fixed income market?
Fixed income markets are basically interest-based investments. And so you would be thinking in terms primarily for most people bonds, CDs, money markets, anything that is primarily it produces income because of interest, rather than a dividend, which would be the profit that a stock-based company might make.
So we're going to address the complexities. Is that it's more complex today than usual?
It is, and the reason is, like most things, we try and simplify it down, but it's more complex than you want it to be. But at the root, interest rates have been coming down for more than 30 years, so about 35 years. When interest rates peaked at about 1980, and we all remember the high interest rates on CDs and money markets from back in the late 70s and early 80s, one of the things that sticks in my mind is that I bought my first home in 1980, and I remember the interest rate I had to pay on that mortgage. And so since that time, interest rates have been coming down. Now, there have always been small short-term blips in that market, but on the whole, interest rates have been trending down until we know where we stand today at the lowest historic interest rates that any of us in all of the generations that are at Shell Point have seen in our lifetimes. And so that in itself has produced a fairly consistent yield, not just from the interest rates, but from the inflating of the value of bonds during that period of time. Well, now we're looking at something different than we've seen in 35 years, in that the likelihood of interest rates going lower has diminished. And there's a lot of talk, some of it's rhetoric, some of it's obvious, that when interest rates are down effectively to about zero, there's only one direction they can go. And so that has given us a different playing field than any of us in 30 years has had to navigate with regard to fixed income investments.
Now, how are you going to share, who's going to share this information with us? Let's start there.
Okay, the information will be shared by long-term friends of Shell Point, Paul Weinstein and Nadine Wilkes. I've had them here before. Historically, they talk about fixed income investing because of our population here. And they're with Raymond James, and they will be coming to talk us through. The way we're going to position it is they're going to ask us 4 questions about our fixed income investments that will help us maybe to know what to do with those investments.
Oh, what are those questions?
Okay. The first question starts with, okay, what do I own and why do I own it? So it's just to take an inventory. Then the second question would be, okay, if interest rates went up or down, what then would be the impact on my portfolio? And people that have been long-term municipal bond purchasers or corporate bond purchasers, it would be good to know, okay, how will that respond to a given interest rate change? And so that may give me some insight into something I may or may not want to do. Then the third question is, are there other risks involved that I'm not thinking of? Maybe I'm keyed in on the interest rate risk, but are there other risks that I might just need to, again, take an inventory, do an assessment, see, okay, oh, there's a risk I wasn't thinking about. And so I think that'll be a good conversation for us.
Sure, and that's why we bring in these experts.
Right. And then the fourth is, okay, what do I do now? I've taken an inventory. I know how it will respond to different things in the economy. I've taken a look at some risks that I may have. Are there some actions that I need to consider?
Another wonderful seminar. You can't beat the coffee, the cookies, the special information from the people you bring to Shell Point for the Legacy Seminar.
Should be a good day.
It should be. Join Tim and the guests he's bringing to look at the complexities of today's fixed income markets.
We want to let you know about an upcoming travel opportunity to see the world champion Boston Red Sox. They are visiting the Minnesota Twins for a spring training baseball battle, and you are invited. Join the Shell Point group next Friday, March 28th, with court pickup starting at 11:15 a.m. $35 gets you tickets to the game and transportation, though hot dogs and Cracker Jacks are up to you. You also get some unspoken perks, such as the forward thinking of program coordinator Bev Chanley. She's been on so many trips that she always has a few tricks up her sleeve. For example, at the previous baseball game last week, it got a little bit cool out there in the shade. No problem. Bev always brings towels when she goes on Shell Point trips, and these people use them to warm up. Next week's game, you might need sunscreen rather than long sleeves. Either way, sign up for the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins game on March 28th by visiting your local service desk. Now let's get to the good news about the brand new LifeQuest Aquatic Center. We had a ribbon cutting event in February to celebrate its grand opening, but we had to wait a few weeks before the county allowed swimmers access to the pool. And last week, we received our certificate of occupancy, and the pool officially opened to guests on Friday morning. There are still some items that are on order. For example, these shade structures shown here will be installed soon. But everything else is fully operational, including the lap pool, the hot tub, and the exercise pool with its accessibility ramp. In fact, the exercise pool is now officially hosting the aquatic exercise classes that were being held in the Island Health Club pool, which is now permanently closed. Every morning at 9:15, Melanie Brode teaches the Aqua Motion class, which is an easy and fun way to stretch those muscles, and because the water's shallow, and there are grab bars all the way around the new exercise pool, you're always safe. There's also a new class on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 10:15 called Aquaflex, designed for those of you who are comfortable in deep water. Floating and treading in deep water is one of the best workouts you can get, and with the new deep water pool at the Aquatic Center, you can burn those calories and build up strength. Finally, Shell Point also offers one-on-one pool training. It's an excellent alternative to land-based weight machines and also great fun being in the water. To learn more about aquatic personal training, call Michelle Smith at 454-2107. So whether you go to the pool just to exercise or if you want to just float around and lounge by the hot tub, the LifeQuest Aquatic Center is now open for business from sunrise to sunset every day of the year. Now this week we'll be reaching the deadline to donate to the Shell Point Library Fund Drive. Every item of their 8,000 volume library, including periodicals and DVDs, comes from resident donations, and it's all operated by resident volunteers. Why should you donate to the Shell Point Library? Let's find out.
Hi Shell Point, I'm Melody Desilets. We're part of the Volunteer Corner, and we're outside in the administration circle right off the lagoon on the island in front of the Resident Activity Center. The reason we're telling you all this is because this is where the library actually is located, and this is where our fund drive will start. Well, Shell Point, after that short walk, we made it into the library, which is located in the Resident Activity Center. Now, Marilyn, tell us the purpose of this little TV segment. Why are we here today?
We're here today to ask the residents to continue their support for the Shell Point Library, which is the residents' library.
Tell me more about that. What does that mean, residents' library?
The library is totally funded by the residents. The library is totally staffed by the residents. Everything you see here has been selected by the residents. It is processed by the residents, and it is a private library, so the residents and employees are the ones that are our patrons.
I think that is a phenomenal gesture and a beautiful thing for residents to take advantage of. They have all this at their fingertips to utilize.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Can you tell me more of what's in the library?
I'd be glad to. We have the latest in fiction, in mystery, in DVDs, in audiobooks. In CDs, we have a fabulous collection of almost 500 of popular and classical. I'm always very proud when I look at the New York Times bestseller list. Last week, we had every single fiction book they were showing.
Wow.
So we're definitely a current library.
Now, Marilyn, you had briefly mentioned that it's run by residents, and you said there's a committee that chooses the selection of what's
Correct.
in the library. There's residents who check out the material for people who are borrowing. Linda, can you tell me what that number is of volunteer hours from 2013 alone?
I can tell you 11,500 hours, and the volunteers who work the desk are dedicated.
Going a little bit more into this fund drive, really essentially, what does this do? What do donations do for the library?
The donations are our only support for the library. They are the funds that we use all year round to purchase the books, the DVDs, the audiobooks.
So any contribution is very important
Absolutely.
to maintaining, getting the best of the best. You had even mentioned before that some of the releases haven't even been put in stores yet,
That's correct.
and we have them in stock.
We have them the minute they are released to DVD. If the committee has decided it's something appropriate for Shell Point, we have it.
You can't beat that, and this is a private library really funded by you all. So if you're a patron of the library, or if you're interested in coming to the library and utilizing all their wonderful books, audiobooks, CDs, DVDs, please feel free to do so. I'll tell you, the volunteers are wonderful. They'll treat you just like your family, and you will have a wonderful experience. So please participate in the Library Fund Drive. It takes place from March 5th through the 19th. You can contribute via internal mail. You can go to either service desk, whether it's on the island or at the Woodlands. Again, March 5th through the 19th, but please feel free to take advantage of the library all year round and continue support. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.
It's time now to cover all of Tuesday's happenings, followed by your Academy News, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in with the happening segment of Shell Point TV. My name is Leslie Brand and I'm here with Bev Chanley and we have a lot going on today, so listen up. We're going to start at 7:15 with the Health Connections, Bend, Breathe and Balance and the Health Club. 8 o'clock is the Round Robin Doubles Tennis at the tennis courts. 8:15, Stamp Ministry will be at the Stamp Room on the island. The Ladies Golf Association will be at 8:30 at the Shell Point Golf Club. 9 o'clock, we have bocce at the bocce courts. Also at 9 o'clock is pickleball at the pickleball court. 9:15, the Caregiver Support Group and Memory Care Group. This will be located on the second floor of the Rehab Center on the island. Sign up is required. 9:15, the Open Painting in the Art Studio on the island. 9:30, Match Play Mixed Doubles Tennis at the tennis courts. 10 o'clock, Assisted Living Spring Open House and Tour at the Community Room of King's Crown on the island. Through the Bible will be at 10:15 in the Osprey Room. 10:30, Caregiver Support Group and Memory Care Group on the second floor of the Rehab Center on the island. Sign up is required. 10:45, we have the TP Houlihan's Irish Pub. The court pickups will be starting at 10:45 on the island, 10:55 at the Woodlands, 11:05 at Eagles Preserve. Sign up is required at either service desk. 11 o'clock, Susie Q is going out to Rum Runners for lunch. Sign-ups required. And lastly, for the morning activities, 11:45, Health Connections, Living Healthy, and the Osprey Room. Now here's Bev for the afternoon activities.
Thank you, Leslie. At 12:30, we have Mixed Progressive Bridge. That'll be in the game room of the Woodlands. 1:15, our busy time of the day, we have Knitters Group in the Osprey Room. Also at 1:15, we have Shuffleboard down at the Shuffleboard Court. The Rollicking Recorderists will be in the Tarpon Room at 1:15. And then we have the 1:15 Women's Ministries Prayer Group in the Hospitality Room at the church. Then we'll move to 1:30, where the Stamp Ministry will be held in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. We have a Health Connections class at 2:45, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2. That's in the Health Club. It's currently full. Then we'll go to 3:15, the Celebration Ringers Rehearsal. That'll be in the choir room of the church. Now at 4:15, there's Tai Chi Cha practice sessions. That'll be in the Health Club. Sign up is required. If you've had the 8-week Tai Chi Cha class and you would like to sign up, there's still room in that class. If you don't have time to sign up, just show up and we'll sign you up then and there. At 7 o'clock, we have the spring dance, Escape to Emerald City. That'll be in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Sign-ups required. That's a $15 fee. Well, we're glad you joined us here today, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Koleth with your Academy information for Tuesday, March 18th. At 10 o'clock, we have the story of Pakistan and Afghanistan in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. You may sign up right at the door. At 10:15, our Apple iPad class, Tips and Techniques, continues in the Manatee Room on the island. At 1:15, After Prep School Basics continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. Also at 1:15, Security, Password Protection continues in the Manatee Room on the island. I'd like to tell you about some new classes coming tomorrow. We have Address the Complexities of Today's Fixed Income Markets in our Legacy Seminar. And so you've got Windows 8. Now, what are you going to do with it? Now a word about the Pavilion Auxiliary. I'd like to extend an invitation to anyone who is looking to make a difference in the life of a friend and neighbor. We have a number of positions currently available serving with the Pavilion Auxiliary. Everything from meeting and greeting at the front desk to helping new residents settle in on the rehab unit to serving as a concierge on each of our units. Please give me a call for more information, and please take a look at the back page of your weekly reminder for our auxiliary opportunities and for information about orientation to the Pavilion Auxiliary.
Menus for Tuesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is stuffed flounder with steamed broccoli and saffron brown rice. The dinner special is the Build Your Own Stir Fry Bar for $12.95, and the soup of the day is country cabbage. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy an Italian super sub with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is grilled chicken over mixed greens with avocado and mango relish for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are veal marsala for $15.95 or fried shrimp for $14.95. Menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here today with Matt Hawkins, who just happens to have my same last name, and that's because he's my son. And I'm delighted that you're here with us, but actually we're here to talk about some substantive things, particularly as it concerns religious freedom issues. And so you're the resident expert in our family on religious freedom issues, and hope we can share some of that with the Shell Point community.
I'll do my best.
That's great. Let me first of all sort of set the stage for this and ask you who you work for.
I work for the Southern Baptist Convention. The Southern Baptist Convention is essentially a network of churches, all local and autonomous, that cooperate primarily to raise up, train, send missionaries, and also help plant churches. So that's why the Southern Baptist Convention exists, very basically. By virtue of the size of our membership, we're basically the largest Protestant denomination in the United States, second only in size to Roman Catholics.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, you don't work just for the Southern Baptist Convention. You also work for the...
That's correct. My particular employer is an entity within the Southern Baptist Convention that seeks to assist churches. We are called the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission.
So let me see if I get this straight.
Right.
You work for the Southern Baptist Convention Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission.
That's correct.
Amazing. You have won the prize for the most longest and most complex name of any employer that we've ever had and interviewed here.
Exactly. Fantastic.
Tell us a little bit about the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission.
Sure. The Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission, my employer, essentially assists local churches face tough issues with regard to what's going on in the public square. So this largely consists of moral, ethical challenges facing the church, and we seek to come alongside the church and help them see moral, ethical challenges through a biblical worldview. Mm-hmm. Part of that responsibility includes education and advocating on behalf of Southern Baptists to the three branches of the federal government. So in some sense, it's a government relations position. That's only part of what we do, but that's part of what my role is in our Washington, D.C. office.
I see. Now, Baptists have had an interesting history, I think, with respect to religious liberty issues that go back a long way. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Baptists have an interesting heritage with regard to religious freedom. My own office is named the Leland House. It's named after a minister, John Leland, who was a minister at the time of America's founding. He was an itinerant preacher in Virginia, and Baptists at that time were very concerned about religious freedom issues because the state church in Virginia at that time was locking people up that didn't square with the state expression of Christianity. So John Leland, we call agitated James Madison for inclusion of religious freedom in the First Amendment to the Bill of Rights. So we have a rich history, particularly with regard to religious freedom, because Baptists were kind of on the forefront in staking that claim out.
So the First Amendment actually came out of issues that John Leland faced and that Southern Baptists faced back at the very beginning of our country.
That's correct. In fact, my own boss, Russell Moore, has an ancestor named Jeremiah Moore, who was a Baptist minister in Virginia during this time and was locked up 3 times in prison for preaching a different gospel than the state church.
Interesting. Wow. So you work for the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission with all of that historical background. That's really exciting. And you work in Washington, D.C.
That's correct.
Your office is in Capitol Hill.
Yep.
What exactly is your job in the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission?
Sure. My title with the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission is Coalitions Director, which my wife basically describes as being a social butterfly for the Ethics and Religious Liberty Commission. What that basically involves is looking for opportunities to partner with groups to accomplish like-minded goals. So there are many groups which we cooperate with whom we may not share any theological agreement, but we might agree on a public policy matter. So for example, on the topic of international religious freedom, I hosted last week a meeting that included a number of Christians, a Roman Catholic, a Hindu, a Muslim, and a Scientologist. We couldn't be more divergent on subjects of theology and eternal things, but we agree on principles of religious freedom, and that's what brings us together to collaborate from time to time.
Thank you for joining us on this special occasion in which we have been discussing religious freedom issues, and we hope to see you soon, either in the community somewhere or at the Village Church. Blessings to each and every one of you.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as Dr. Erwin Rudolph recites some verse to show Shakespeare's comedic side. We'll also visit the home of Pam Blau, who has turned a small space into an amazing space. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Tuesday, March 18th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.